Have you ever wondered what makes a website feel alive? What takes a flat page of text and turns it into something you can actually interact with? Well, the answer is almost always JavaScript. And today, we're going to dive into what it is and why it's, well, the language that basically powers the entire modern web.
Right. Think about it. What's the difference between a static, kind of boring document and a website that actually responds to you, where videos play, menus drop down, and things animate as you scroll? What is that spark? To really get it, we first have to talk about the other two big players on the web.
Okay, so first up, you've got HTML. Think of HTML as the skeleton of a web page. It gives the page its basic structure, the headings, the paragraphs, where the images go. Then you have CSS. CSS is like the clothing and the style. It adds all the colors, the fonts, the layout. It's what makes the skeleton look good. But even with a great skeleton and some stylish clothes, what you've really got is a static mannequin. It can't do anything.
So what's the missing piece? The thing that actually breathes life into that mannequin? That's JavaScript. If HTML is the skeleton and CSS is the clothes, then JavaScript is the brain, the muscles, the nervous system. It's the part that lets the website react, respond, and actually interact with you.
So what is JavaScript, really? Well, the official definition calls it a lightweight, object-oriented programming language. Now, object-oriented is just a fancy way of saying it organizes code into neat, reusable pieces, kind of like building with Lego bricks. But the key part of that definition, the most important part, is its purpose, to create dynamic and interactive content. It's the engine that makes things happen.
And this is not just some nice-to-have skill. Nope, it's absolutely essential. It's a core language for web development, which means jobs are in super high demand. It's the powerhouse behind huge frameworks like React and Angular, which are used by giants like Google and Facebook. And maybe the best part, it runs in every single modern browser right out of the box. You don't have to install a thing.
Okay, so we know what it is and why it's a huge deal. Now let's peel back the curtain a little bit and see how it actually works under the hood. The magic word here is interpreted. Now, some programming languages need to be compiled, that is, fully translated into machine code before they can run. That process can be a little slow, but not JavaScript. It's interpreted, which means your web browser reads it and executes it line by line on the fly. This makes development so much faster because you can write some code and see your changes pretty much instantly.
So where does JavaScript live? Well, it kind of has two homes. First, there's the client side, which is just your web browser. That's where it handles all the fun stuff you see, the animations, the forms, the user interactions. But it can also run on the server side, doing the heavy lifting in the background, like managing databases, handling files, and dealing with security. This ability to work on both the front and back end is what makes it so incredibly powerful.
So how does JavaScript actually change something on a page you're looking at? It does it through something called the DOM, which stands for Document Object Model. The easiest way to think about the DOM is like a family tree for the web page. Every single element, every heading, every button, every little piece is a branch on that tree. JavaScript can navigate this tree, find any element it wants, and change its style, its content, or even its structure, all in real time, without ever needing to reload the page. It's pretty cool.
All right, let's get into the nitty-gritty. We're going to break JavaScript down into its most basic, fundamental pieces. And trust me, it's a lot simpler than it sounds.
Everything in programming, and I mean everything, starts with data. JavaScript's most basic forms of data are called primitives. These are just simple, raw values. Things like numbers, 10 or 3.14, and strings, which is just a programmer's fancy word for text, like the words hello world.
But you can't just have data floating around in space, right? You need a place to put it. That's where variables come in. Just think of a variable as a labeled box or a container where you can store a piece of information that your program might need to use later on, and you create one with a simple keyword like var. And this right here is the perfect example of how it all comes together. This is the classic Hello World program. It's often the very first thing a new developer learns to write. We have our data, the string hello world, and we're passing it to a command that just tells the browser's console to show it on the screen. Simple as that.
Now, as your programs get bigger, you don't want to keep writing the same code over and over again. That would be a nightmare. That's where functions come to the rescue. A function is basically a recipe. It's a reusable block of code that does one specific thing. You write the instructions once, give that recipe a name, and then you can just call it by name anytime you need it. So, let's recap. We've got data, we have variables to store it, and we've got functions to act on it. So what? What can you actually create with these basic building blocks? Well, the answer is pretty much anything you can think of. I mean, seriously, the possibilities are just huge. We're talking way beyond just making websites dynamic. JavaScript is used to build native mobile apps, create games that run right in your browser, power the backends of websites, and even control smart devices in the Internet of Things. Its reach is absolutely staggering. And here's the best part. Developers don't have to reinvent the wheel every time. There's a massive ecosystem of tools out there to help. You've got libraries like React, which are like toolkits filled with pre-written code. And then you have frameworks like Angular and Vue, which provide a whole blueprint for building really complex applications in a smart, efficient way.
If you need just one single number to really grasp how dominant JavaScript is, this is it, 98%. Think about that. That means that pretty much any time you click a button, swipe on a screen, or type into a box on a website, JavaScript is the thing in the background making that interaction happen. Its control of the web is nearly absolute.
So there you have it. From the simplest little animation to the most complex web applications. From your phone to your web server, JavaScript is the invisible engine that drives our entire digital world. The only real question left is, knowing what it's capable of, what will you build with it?